Rack systems are fundamental to any warehouse system, and if a rack system fails, it creates a dangerous situation that could lead to expensive product damage, equipment damage, lost productivity, or serious injury.
And no matter how many safety precautions you take, collisions between forklifts and racks are inevitable.
Why do rack systems fail? Well, there are many reasons for rack system failure, but the number one reason is impact from forklifts. When rounding a corner or upon entering or leaving an aisle, forklift drivers can accidentally turn into the bottom of the rack system. In fact, 90% of rack damage occurs when something strikes the bottom portion of the exposed rack columns, between the floor and the first horizontal beam. The best way to prevent rack damage is to protect the racks in spots where they are most vulnerable. The best way to do that is with Rack Sentry. The good news is that there's a Rack Sentry application for each one of these vulnerable spots. Rack Sentry Standard is available in sizes to fit any brand rack with an upright face from 3 to 4 3/4 inches. Then there's the Rack Sentry End to protect the vulnerable outside ends of the rack from collision damage. The Rack Sentry cutout features a cutaway section on the return arms that allows the Rack Sentry to fit over horizontal beams. Installed one way, it fits beams 5 inches off the ground. Flip it and it fits beams 7 inches off the ground. Like our Column Sentry product, Rack Sentry features a patented air chamber system that deflects impact energy away from the rack. It's like a mini airbag that protects at all angles. Talk about tough! The Rack Sentry was tested with a 5,000-pound capacity forklift running into it at 3 miles an hour without any visible damage to the rack upright, the forklift, or the Rack Sentry.
Plus, those tests showed that Rack Sentry reduced the impact force by half.
Rack Sentry is more compact than metallic shields that often reduce handling clearances. And there are no floor bolts to shear off, saving expensive repairs and replacements. Molded from a semi-flexible, stress crack-resistant polyethylene, each Rack Sentry is 18 inches tall and can be stacked for additional protection. Rack Sentry is the definitive choice for tough, dependable, bounce-back rack protection. After all, which would you rather replace, the rack or the rack protector? The choice is easy: Rack Sentry.